Hello guys, welcome to the Kingdom Come Deliverance review. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance is an open world RPG that was developed by Warhorse Studios and published by Deep Silvers. Warning now, there will be spoilers. You have been warned. Okay, so, start with the pros obviously, then go to the cons, and then I'll give you my overall review. Right down to the pros. So, Henry by far is one of the best parts of this game. He essentially begins as a naive little boy, not really little, but he begins as a naive boy, really develops into a hardened man. And you get to develop and play and watch him basically grow into a warrior, and that is very awesome and very interesting, and basically becomes the best part of the game because you watch him become from nothing to something, and you get to develop these skills yourselves playing throughout the game, and it's really nice to actually do that and see that you're actually accomplishing something that's overall, I would say, the best part of the game. Overall, you have a decent supporting cast. Hans Capon, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is probably one of the best supporting characters in this game, and he starts out as really an overall noble ass, and I hated him when I first met him, but he's really humbled by his hunting experience with Henry, and from there you really become a good friend of his, and overall, he becomes a good warrior and a very loyal friend to Henry, and I really enjoy that. And watching that character arc really was nice to see. And then Radzig is a bit weird. Overall, Radzig is a good character, but it was weird to see why he was so fond of Henry. And it is eventually revealed that he is Henry's true father, and then everything starts to make sense. But overall, he's a good character, and I really enjoyed it, and he had good voice acting. Lastly, there was Runt. Runt really serves as one of the antagonists of the game, and he is damn easy to hate, and that's good. That's why he's good. He's an easy guy to hate. He's a mercenary who really only cares about himself, and when he steals your father's sword, it really is easy to hate him, and I felt that was a good part, and he was one of the better villains. Overall, good graphics. I'm not a big graphics guy, but I always throw that out there. Overall, decent voice acting. So like Henry, Sir Hanush, Radzig, Hans Capon, Lady Stephanie, Teresa, they all have very good voice acting. And however, there are secondary characters like Henry's friends that are rough to say the least. And then Divish's voice in particular did not fit with me because he doesn't have the voice of an old man. He has the voice of a man who looks like he's 30, yet sounds like he's 30 but looks like he's 60. So it's a little weird to see that, and that was off, but overall the voice acting was decent. I mean, there were a lot of rough patches where you could really tell, ooh, yeah. Overall, good story though. Watching Henry's parents die is sad. Then watching him playing and really essentially seeing him grow up is pretty good. There's a good climax and a nice ending, and with Henry and his stepfather kind of meeting one more time, and that is really nice to see, and I thought that was a little nice addition they tacked on. They didn't have to, and I enjoyed that. The one-on-one combat, and we'll get to the combat later, to other combat later. One-on-one combat is great. This works virtually perfectly, It works very well, it's fun, it's smooth, and it's challenging, and it works. That's what I really enjoy about it. I don't want to say unique because it's not necessarily unique, but I like the geography-friendly gear, how you have the Milanese and the Saxon armor, things like that. Thought that was cool. You have a variety of weapons from axes, bows, swords, maces, daggers, halberds, whatever you really want to use, you can kind of use, which I enjoy about that, and I thought that was really good. It controls relatively well. Horse is a bit weird sometimes, but nothing too clunky or off. I like that. For the most part, it is historically accurate, which is nice too, because me being a history major, I don't have any specialization in this area, or in Germany, or Bohemia, or the Czech. No specialization in that, but overall everything seems relatively well. Seems pretty accurate, so there's that. And that was overall all the cons that I could, or cons, those are all the pros I could think of for when I was writing the script. So I mean, overall pretty well. It does pretty well with the things it has, and I enjoyed that. Now we get to the cons. So, to start right off with the cons, loading screens. Too many and too long. It disrupts the flow of the game and gets really annoying at times. That is probably one of the biggest things I disliked about the game. That was big. Runt is way too hard one-on-one. Trying to fight Runt one-on-one combat is very difficult. I had a really tough time fighting him, and he is by far the hardest person to ever fight in this game. You will not face anything more challenging than Runt, and that is very early on. And then there's a super cheap loophole you can use with the bow and arrow, which I hit him and killed him with 2 hits, which is very unsatisfying. And it was annoying that I had to resort to that kind of method because he is really just way too hard for something so early on. Not a big satisfying end. Henry strives to get his father's sword back, and he doesn't even get it. It's left with a cliffhanger sequel/DLC sequel bait ending, and that bugs me because, you know, that's one of the essentially the biggest things that Henry wants to achieve in this game, and he doesn't get to achieve it because of a sequel bait/DLC bait. That bugs me. Didn't like that. So that was I had a problem with that. Cliche plot twist with Henry being a noble. Yeah, when this happened, I was surprised but disappointed. It felt very forced in a sense. Watching Henry become a capable human being in a way was actually very something I felt accomplished about, because you learn how to play this game, and you essentially become, you know, good at fighting, good at stealth, good at whatever it is you're focusing in. And then realizing that the only reason that he was given this chance is because he's Radzig's son. If he was not Radzig's son, I really doubt that he would ever get this opportunity to be serving in the military as Radzig's squire. I really do doubt that. I think he'd be a simple foot soldier at best, but at worst, I don't think that was necessary. You know, I didn't really care much about that. Combat isn't built for big battles. As you can see in the 3 big battles you do fight in this game, combat is not good when you're facing more than, you know, 4 opponents, I guess, because 1, you consistently either A, get stuck on a guy that is behind the person in front of you, or B, your reticle doesn't stay on the guy and keeps moving when you're trying to hit. And then sometimes it doesn't even swing when you need it to. And even when you lock on, it still moves at times, and it's frustrating. You have underutilized characters, and the biggest example of this I can see is Teresa, who is essentially a badass in this game, and they make her out to be like she's going to be this really important character, but then like a quarter in the game, she just disappears. As soon as she's not needed in the plot, they just drop her off and she disappears into the background. Really got annoyed with this, and I didn't like that. I thought they could have really utilized her and a few other characters a lot better. The romance / marriage thing I was kind of annoyed with. And owning property. This is an RPG game, essentially, right? You can romance, but you can't marry. And seeing how this is an RPG game, why can't you marry somebody? You also can't buy homes, property, land, etc. You can buy rooms to sleep in, but they're not land to make money off of. It's an RPG game. Why can't you make money off of land? You could buy like a farm or a shop or something like this. You can't do that, and that's kind of annoying. And you could argue, oh, feudalism. You know, you only can get land if it's granted by the king. Yeah, it's also 1403. Feudalism is, by this point, more or less disappearing, and is really not existing as much as it was. So you could also argue that at the same time, this is also a time where property values are being purchased and fiefs are disappearing. So I just thought, you know, it doesn't. I would appreciate being able to buy land in some sense, and I didn't like that you couldn't. So yeah, especially since at the very beginning it's very easy. It's very hard to get money. It'd be cool if you can, you know, do some things like invest in property and buy in property. You could get some money out of that. There's lack of big cities. Rete is by far pretty much the only city I saw myself focused in, and then Sasau was next. I only was focused in Rete and Sasau. Those were the only 2 cities I'd ever go to buy or sell, or really do anything, repair my armor. I barely went to any of the other cities. I think if they were bigger and had more stuff involved with them, or had more detail to them, I would have focused on them more. But basically, throughout this entire game, if I ever wanted anything done, I essentially rode back to Sasau or Rete. I never found myself going to any of the other cities. I'm not even going to try to pronounce them because I know I'll mess up. So that's just something, I guess. I get you're supposed to be on the countryside, but I mean, there's really not much to do outside of any of the cities as well. There is the ability to find there's the opportunity for you to find a dead body, and you'll either A, find someone looting it, or B, no one there, and if you go to loot it, someone will go, oh, you're looting. And that happens really, really often. You can find the Wayfaring Knight, who will challenge you to a duel. You can get a piece of unique armor, or a piece of armor from him, or you find the Faint-Hearted Knight, who will challenge you to a duel, sorta, or you can convince him to walk away, and he's really easy to beat. There's the opportunity to find a dead animal and someone either skinning it, or you find it there, and if you go to skin it, someone's going to accuse you of poaching. Same thing as with the first finding a dead body. There's the chance you can get ambushed by attackers, and then there's the chance you could find a group of people being attacked. Not much variety, and kind of the same thing in certain scenarios, so I mean, overall, not a lot to do outside the cities. And then really outside the cities as well, you can find interesting spots, you can find the crosses and other camps, but essentially they don't serve much of a purpose, and they're not really collectibles-esque. So I mean, that really serves no purpose as well. There are no collectibles as well, so there's no reason to really go out and search the world, essentially, since there's nothing really there most of the time. There's no replayability. I beat the game. I have not gone back to it because I don't really have a reason to go back to it. Again, there's no collectibles. There's not a lot to do. The side missions are not really that entertaining. They never really held my attention to it. They always seemed like kind of there. There's no storyline or side quest that made me go, I have to do this now. Like, I guess in a sense, if you compare this to Skyrim or The Witcher 3, they always had side quests or storylines that will make you really want to do that over the main story. That wasn't like that in this game. I continuously always found myself wanting to do the main story over anything else, and I thought that was kind of lacking in terms of other things to do in the game. I guess these are two things that really got under my skin more. There's no crosshair for the bow. So when you have the bow, there's no reticule to aim with. You just gotta play it by ear or play it by sight, I guess. You have to do that, and then there's no detected/undetected feature. So when you're crouching or in stealth, you either are crouched and it doesn't let you. You just have to judge everything. Is he gonna see me and discover me or not? And if you get discovered, you're just discovered and you're screwed. But if not, you're not, and it's really hard to judge that sometimes, and it gets kind of annoying at how well you conceal and everything like that, and you just kind of got to play everything by. It'd be nice to just have a little detected feature. That'd be cool. And those are just two things that got under my skin the most, that are the little things. Another big thing that got under my skin as well is the decision making. It's an RPG game, and there is very, very little decision making to do, and even those choices you can make have very little impact on the story. It would be cool to have that, and that would be a nice replayability feature if you were able to make a decision to really make your character go and lean towards a certain way. But the fact is that you can't, and Henry's kind of stuck on this linear progression. It really takes away the RPG aspect out of it, and you can't really do what you want to do. You can act on how you want to act, and this game, you can become a thief, you can become a warrior, you can do what it is what you want to do in an RPG game, but overall you can't change any of the storyline or the story dialogue because you're stuck on a linear motion. You can't go off the rails and take this story into a different route. Say in Skyrim, or actually I think the best option would be not Skyrim. Take Mass Effect. You have the Paragon and the I'm not gonna be able to think of it. The Paragon and the villain is, I can't remember what it's called, but when you could either be a hero, be a good guy, and do a lot of nice things for people, or you could be a bad guy and do really bad things to people and be really not so good of a person, obviously. And these two routes will lead you in very two different directions, and overall you'll end up with the same outcome, but the way you get there is different, and the things in between it are different. And whereas this, you're basically stuck on this one linear path, and it kind of takes away the RPG elements of the game. And I would have just liked and enjoyed something of the sort. Overall, that's all I have for cons. Overall, though, I would probably give this Oh god, I really wanted to like this game, and it was kind of a disappointment, but it wasn't a disappointment. It was that weird in between where I didn't really know how to feel about this game, because it was a game I was really looking forward to, but I wasn't let down, but I wasn't fulfilled, if that makes sense. You know, it's just, I have this weird emptiness feeling, like I don't know what to do now, because like this game was good, but it wasn't great, it wasn't bad. But it's weird, you know what I mean? It's not that, it's something that just doesn't feel right. If I had to give it a score out of 10, probably 7 out of 10. So, I mean, I felt this game had a lot of potential, but it didn't deliver on some aspects, and it was definitely missing a lot, but it definitely nailed a lot too. So, I mean, this game wasn't exactly groundbreaking, and it promised a lot, but overall I just think it didn't deliver on some of the aspects it could have delivered on, and it's a very average game. 7 out of 10. It's a C is an average. But I mean, it was by far not a bad game, but nowhere near a good game, or I should say nowhere near a great game. So not bad, not great, that nice in between. It's a decent game, decent to good game, and I definitely think other people will be different about it. I mean, I just felt it could have been better. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things it could have been better on. And another thing is that the fact that you had to have those two roughly 24 to 26 gigabyte sized patches, two of them, two separate 24 to 26 gigabyte patches you had to do on day 1 and day 2. So there's that as well. It's just, this game was definitely missing stuff. It was not, I don't think it nailed its full potential, but it was nowhere near a disappointment. But overall, those are my thoughts on the game. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree or disagree with me? I want to know what you guys feel in the comments below. What do you guys think of this game as well? I mean, do you think it's a good game? And I hope this helps you make a decision in the future. If you're watching this and debating on buying it, sorry if it's spoiled for you. But I mean, I warned you. I did warn you. I always warn people at the beginning of review videos about spoilers. So, you know, I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys agree or disagree? Did I miss anything? I mean, obviously I can't nail these reviews perfectly, and I forget things as well. I have a very forgetful memory, which is not too great. So having a forgetful memory kind of sucks. I kind of forget some things about the thing. I either forget things I like or forget things I dislike about the game, and I don't really cover that in my reviews. So I want to know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you please consider subscribing to my channel for more content Monday through Friday. And I hope you guys enjoy and give this a nice like. So that'd be awesome. I will see you all around. See you in the next video. Peace.